So welcome to the social media marketing update for May. This is one of our monthly free sessions that we run every single month here at Avocado Social, and will continue to do so as much as the social media industry continues to keep feeding out news and updates. So as always, there is plenty to tell you about today, so let's get stuck in. First of all, if you are new to a session, then my name is Alison. I've been working in the social media industry for 15 years now, and Avocado Social is 10 years old. So we've been doing a lot of work recently on TikTok and Instagram, as well as LinkedIn, but we also do run advertising for a lot of our clients, and we consult a lot of businesses on their social media strategies as well. So if you're interested in any of our services, then please do get in touch, and I'll be sharing my contact details with you all later on. So what's been going on in the world of social media recently? Well, there have been some big Instagram updates that have been shared recently by the team at Instagram. So I'm going to be giving you the full rundown on what that means and how you can apply that to your own strategies. We're also going to be talking about some of the subscription services that are coming out from Meta at the moment, which are paid options to enhancing your profile, getting that blue tick, and also getting some extra one-on-one support from Meta. We'll move on to TikTok. There's been quite a lot of updates with TikTok as usual, and I'll tell you a little bit about the potential US ban and what that might entail. So there's been some updates regarding music, collaborations, ads, and search. I'm also going to tell you a bit about what's been happening with Threads. It is Meta's baby of its family of apps, and it is the one which it is putting a lot of focus into growth at the moment. We'll round off with a bit of a trend that's been happening lately, may have come up in your social media feeds, which is the celeb blockout. And finally, I wanted to give you a little bit of an update on the Top Voice badge on LinkedIn. So Instagram has made some pretty important changes to how its system is recommending content. One of the best ways to grow on Instagram is actually to create content that has a high chance of appearing in the suggestions or recommendations in the Reels feed and in the Explore tab, and also in the main feed as well. One of the big changes that Instagram's made recently is that they are actually focusing on original content and increasing distribution for smaller accounts as well. So one of the big changes that they've made recently is that they are removing aggregators from recommendations. What does that mean? So they're actually giving aggregators, who are people who tend to share other people's videos and images, like meme accounts, far less weight in the algorithm, and they are preventing them from being able to be recommended to new audiences. So if you are running an account that does focus on sharing other people's content, even if you credit it, you may find a drop in reach in your overall content output. It's giving more emphasis on the fact that we should be creating our own original videos. Now, of course, you can still take inspiration from others. And this is a trend that I've been seeing lately, where a creator or a business has recorded an Instagram reel and they've put in the caption, inspired by, or original idea by, and giving credit to where credit's due. So that is really important. If you see a trend or you see a particular skit, maybe a comedy skit or a challenge, is seeing if you can tag the original creator of that in your caption. And that will be really well received, I'm sure, by the creator, and also will help you in that algorithm as well. The other thing that Instagram have been announcing is that they are tweaking their algorithm to give smaller creators a better chance of breaking through in recommendations. So they want to be a little bit more like TikTok in this sense, where it doesn't matter how many followers you have, it's much more about the content you're creating. So that's good news for myself and a lot of my clients who are definitely looking to try and attract new followers, and they may not be, hitting the 50,000, 100,000 followers that you tend to see from accounts that appear in recommendations. Also, Instagram recently announced that shorter videos do perform better in Reels. That's videos that are less than 90 seconds long. So keeping things short is still a really great way of engaging audiences. And the final thing that they revealed just this week is that shares are now given the biggest signal of quality to the algorithm. So the algorithm will rank something depending on what's had the most shares first. And then it's thought to be watch time. They haven't actually confirmed that, but watch time is really important. So if you are still focused on how many likes or how many comments you've got, of course, the overall engagement is important, but it's shares specifically that Instagram is judging your content by, and also watch time. So how many people are watching your video all the way through to the end or rewatching it. Let's delve a little bit deeper into a graphic which Instagram shared this week, where they kind of showed you how the algorithm works. So you can see that, first of all, they categorize content from public Instagram accounts using specific signals. So those signals include things like the topics which you categorize your reel against, the keywords which you include in your captions, words which are overlaid on top of your video, and also the category which you categorize yourself as a public Instagram account. So all of those have really important factors within how Instagram sees you and categorizes you. It will then show your video to a small audience that it believes will like your content. Maybe those are loyal fans that are looking at your content all the time. Maybe they're people who follow very similar categorized accounts. Then the content that resonates the most with this audience is then shown to a slightly larger audience. And this process basically continues until that audience gets wider and wider and wider. And that's why often you do come across videos in the Reels feed which have millions of views, because Reels is now showing that to a much wider audience because it can see how popular it has been. So going through this process allows Instagram to quickly provide new and diverse content to new audiences. So that is essentially how the algorithm works. I mentioned that some of the creators who are known as these kind of aggregator accounts that repost content that they find from other sources, they've gotten a lot of reach in the recommendations section of Instagram. So that would be in the Reels feed, or it would be in the main feed. Sometimes you get suggested videos that Instagram thinks you'll be interested by. Instagram have now said they're changing this. They think it's important to correct this because actually they want to give more small creators a chance for better distribution. They want to also make sure that original content is given its due, rather than people who just tend to copy others or reshoot other people's ideas. They're going to be adding more labels to reposted content, linking the original creator. And they're also going to be removing big content aggregators like these two accounts, which I must say are brilliant meme accounts. They are very funny to go and follow, but they will be removing people like influencers in the wild from their recommendations. So it will hurt their overall reach. What does this mean for all of us running? Is, where possible, create your own original content. Always link to the original creator by tagging them in if you have been inspired by someone else's content. Don't just repost other people's content all the time. That is something that Instagram is definitely downgrading. I also mentioned there sticking to shorter reels seems to be working best in the algorithm right now. And also thinking about how you can get more shares on your content. So even just asking people in the caption, share this with. I've seen quite a lot of that in the last few weeks. Tag in your bestie or share this with another business owner or tag in someone that you would like to attend this experience with. So those are all good ways and prompts to get people sharing more content. It is always worth checking to see what Adam Mosseri, the CEO of Instagram, is sharing on his Instagram account. He does a lot of videos answering questions or doing Ask Me Anythings. So he's a really good person to follow. And he is the one that actually at an event last week said that Reels that are longer than 90 seconds can hurt your distribution, which was a direct quote from him, which really seems quite strange given that TikTok and Instagram are both experimenting with increasing their video length options. TikTok, for example, are testing out 30-minute videos, I read recently, which seems to go against the algorithm, but perhaps this is something that they really see a future in. So as I said earlier, Adam Mosseri has recently said that more important than likes and comments is send rates. And the rate is really important than the actual count. So the number of sends per reach is what the algorithm is actually looking at. So even if you get like 5 sends, 5 shares essentially, and your reach was like 100, that might be a bigger percentage than if your reach was like a million and you got 200 shares. So it doesn't necessarily matter how many shares you had, it's the rate in which people are likely to share. That's something that Instagram is now seeing as a great way to spot quality in the algorithm, essentially. Instagram has also recently noted a few new features. These are ones that are being tested at the moment that you might spot in your own feeds. I'm quite excited about the fact that Instagram is testing a text feature for image posts. So you'll be able to easily add some text on top of an image in Instagram itself. So that just makes editing on the go really easy to enable you to create some more in-app memes, maybe to just make some POV statements on top of an image. I think that will be a really well-received update. So that is in testing at the moment, and whether or not we'll see that rolled out globally soon, who knows? It depends how the test goes. Instagram has also added a watch more reels and a share button at the end of a reel that you watch in feed. So if you're busy scrolling through your feed, you've watched a reel, it's come to the end, you can now see those 2 buttons prominently on the middle of the reel, which I think again is just another nod to the fact that shares are so important within the algorithm now. What other Instagram updates have we seen? Well, there are 4 new interactive stickers that have just been launched. I've got these on my personal account at the moment, but not on my business account. So I'm imagining that this is as usual being rolled out. Let's take a deeper dive into these different stickers. There's the Add Yours music. So a little bit similar to the Add Yours reply with an image. You're now able to reply to a story with a song, which just provides another engagement option, particularly for those who are big fans of music. One that I tried over the weekend is this Polaroid frame option over on the left. This launched at Coachella this year, and this is a way to create a Polaroid shot. So you basically take a photo and then you can put that into the Polaroid frame and give the Polaroid a title. It will then add this timestamp automatically. But the really interesting thing is anyone watching your story has to shake their phone to reveal the photo. So the photo will appear blank, first of all. They will then be prompted to shake to reveal, and that will open up the photo. So that's something I posted personally at the weekend last weekend, and it did great in terms of personal engagement. So I'd love to see that coming out for businesses soon. And then the one on the right there is an option where you can basically, again, reveal a photo by responding, in this case, to a question. So the user would ask a question, then if you message them back, the photo will reveal. So interesting that all of these new features are really focused on interaction. I think Instagram is definitely trying to push people away from very passively watching their stories and swiping on to the next one. All of these new options are prompts for people to engage in the platform, actually shake or reply or add some music. And that's where Instagram is really looking to boost its interactivity at the moment in the stream and move away from passive viewers. So you may have heard the news that Instagram and Facebook, their parent company Meta, has been testing out a service called Meta Verified. They launched it last year and they rolled it out in a number of different countries, Canada, Australia, and New Zealand, with those that were being first tested. It enabled users to pay Meta for a subscription bundle, which essentially gave you benefits such as a blue tick and also some extra support from Meta Verified. So that launched for in the UK around $9.99 a month. It is being tested in certain countries and isn't rolled out to everyone at the moment. So some of us may be invited to join that program and some not. Some of the other benefits that they are now including in that is enhanced profile, which basically means you can add more images, more links, more addresses to your profile. Also, links in Reels is something that they are now offering as this kind of bonus if you subscribe. So this will enable you, a little bit like on TikTok, to have a specific link sending people to a product page or an event page in your Reels. And finally, that business support, which I think is just becoming so valuable now, to actually be able to speak to someone at Meta on a chat or request a phone call. Now, all that being said, you can actually get pretty good support now on Meta. I've had a few people say to me recently that they've actually had really good experiences with Meta live chat. I had one client that was on the phone with Meta for 2.5 hours trying to sort out their business manager. So it does seem like there has been an improvement recently to the free Meta support. But I think just being able to kind of skip the queue and definitely get an agent support you, is that worth the kind of $9.99 a month? Probably, I'd say, if you found that you were ending up trying to talk to them all the time. They have actually, with these new features, increased that price to $14.99 per month. And so that includes the verification badge, higher ranking in search, which I think is really important, impersonation protection. So if anyone pretends to be you or your business, they will get immediately removed, and the ability to add links to images and access customer support as well. So those are some of the additional benefits coming out. Of course, if you are, you may have seen some of the news as well, where if you do pay for Meta verification, you then have the opportunity to be featured in the feed more prominently as a recommended account to follow. And also, as I've just mentioned, you will appear at or near the top of search results as well. So this is really interesting that Meta is responding to the fact that more people are using the search on Instagram to search for places to go for lunch or what to do at the weekend. So this is almost like a direct response, but they're now saying, if you want to be seen, you've got to pay. I do have bad news for you though. They are actually stating that if you are a business account, you do have a higher tier price. So the prices that I've been quoting are for creator accounts. But if you're a business account, the minimum you will need to spend is $44.99 a month for these enhancements. Let's have a quick look at those tiers, and they are a little eye-watering. So we have got the business standard, apologies. We have got the $14.99 a month, which gives you the blue tick, impersonation protection, the support, the advanced profile, and the search optimization. Business Plus gives you a few extra benefits there, including those links in Reels. Business Premium gives you employee impersonation protection as well, customized message chats also, if you are doing a lot of messaging to your customers. And Business Max gives you all of that, plus you get an account review where a Meta associate will give you some personalized feedback on how you've been doing. So I'm not sure what the general feeling is of paying for Meta. What do you all think? I think if anything, I'd probably maybe test out with the $14.99 just to see what kind of effect that had on my profile. But I mean, so far, I haven't heard of many businesses that are saying, yes, we're definitely going to do this. And of course, that does look like a pretty large investment to make into Meta. If you look at something like paying for business premium for a year. So how it will perform, I'm not quite sure, but good to know about and good to see that these options are available for businesses. So let's move away from Meta now and discuss TikTok. I'm sure many of you are aware that TikTok have been undergoing a lot of discussions with Universal Music Group this year. And that led to a big fallout a couple of months ago where UMG actually removed their entire catalogue of music from TikTok. So a lot of videos which previously had songs like Harry Styles or Taylor Swift or Miley Cyrus suddenly were silent. So that happened to a lot of videos. It also meant that a lot of the latest tracks were no longer available to be used in TikTok. But fans can rejoice once again because the agreement is back on. So they have come to an agreement, and the return of the recorded music from UMG's catalogue is now happening. So a lot of videos where they've seen music disappear, that music will be coming back and reinstating to a lot of videos. And we will now be able to see much more music from the world's biggest artists and songwriters, as well as emerging talent as well. So that's always quite interesting to see how artists these days can completely launch their careers on TikTok because a song just picks up and becomes popular. So you might be feeling a little bit confused about what music you can and can't use on TikTok. Well, one of the things that TikTok has been quite hot on recently is providing a lot more kind of standard music for business and commercial purposes. You can actually go to the TikTok Creator Center, which is completely free to have a look at. And the Creative Center, you do need to have a login for, but gives you a rundown of the top 100 tracks that are popular right now on TikTok. And there's a little tick box there where you can tick approved for business use. So there are actually more and more tracks available for businesses to use. But you can see that the top ranked track available for business use is number 21. So you're still not able to use the top 20 tracks on TikTok right now. I have definitely seen an increase in sounds being used as opposed to songs. So, what I mean by that is more dialogue, clips from movies, clips from TV, clips from creators that get clipped up and go viral, sound effects, ASMR. So, there are certainly alternatives to using popular music on your TikTok videos. And using a popular track does not make a track necessarily go viral. It's a long list of different things that your video has to be in order for that video to amass a lot of views, not just the song you added. One of the things that definitely helps is adhering to specific trends in terms of content, challenges, themes, conversations. I've definitely mentioned this one before, but using the later TikTok trends blog is a great compass for understanding what is popular on TikTok right now. So that's again completely free. Just Google later TikTok blog and you will find that one. So I've mentioned the Later blog and the TikTok Creative Center as great places to go just to find viral songs, viral videos, hashtags. You can also look at the top creators and you can filter down to your country as well. In typical style, TikTok has recently announced a new feature that is something you can do on Instagram. So they are forever just copying each other. TikTok copies Instagram, Instagram copies TikTok. The latest announcement we've seen is TikTok collaborative posts. Now, I'm sure many of you will be well versed in what these are for on Instagram. On Instagram, you have the ability to add, I think it's 4 other creators now, although correct me if I'm wrong, into a post. This allows that post to then be shown on all of the different Instagram accounts of who are included in that post. And this is a fantastic way to boost engagement. So I'm a big fan of collaborative posts on Instagram. I've certainly seen for my clients, it really does tend to enhance that engagement and the views. So if you're doing a collaborative competition, or if you are inviting an influencer in, or you are working with an influencer, or even if you're running maybe a charity event and you're working with a number of different partners, that would certainly be worth creating a collaborative post for. So over on TikTok, this is now a thing. Creators will be able to tag up to 5 others in a collaborative post. You will, of course, have the option to approve or decline a request, as you can do on Instagram. Users can choose to remove themselves as well from the post after it has gone live. The post will show up on both pages, but only the original creator will be able to edit the post. And you'll be able to add collaborators up to 4 times a month. So they have put a bit of a cap on that. I'm not sure why, but you'll only be able to add collaborators 4 times a month to your posts. So I'm really welcoming that feature. I think that will work great, particularly for influencer outreach on TikTok. Another TikTok update is around the advertising side of TikTok, which is, of course, gaining a lot of momentum at the moment. I'm sure those of you that are using TikTok will notice that advertising on TikTok is slightly different to other platforms because the content that works best there tends to be UGC. So it really is that influencer recommendation, it's a influencer filmed video, it's a celebrity raving about a product. It's even a customer saying, I tried this product for the first time and I loved it. And so UGC tends to rule when it comes to advertising on TikTok. They are introducing a new product, a number of new products and opportunities that will basically allow marketers to better control what sort of content their ads are appearing against. So this is called Pulse Premiere, and it's an ad slot that has launched, allowing the advertiser to select different publishers and media content that they would like their ads to appear after. So you'll be able to choose over a dozen categories, including lifestyle, sports, entertainment, and education. And your ads will appear after content has gone up from select publishers in the For You feed. So this is going to work really well for companies who are looking to advertise alongside brand safe content, particularly around big moments like the Paris Olympics, which is coming up, and of course, the Euros, and allow advertisers to buy slots with specific networks and content offerings. So if you want to be a bit more intentional about where your ads are appearing in TikTok, this sounds like a great option. And that's called Pulse Premiere. That's rolling out at the moment. For those of you that are not necessarily advertising on TikTok, but you are thinking about discovery and how people are finding your content, then search, of course, has become such a major part of the app. We've seen a huge amount of new features being launched over the last year, which are focused around search engine optimization, features including the fact that you can now add 2,000 characters to your captions on TikTok, meaning you can write SEO keywords and phrases in your captions more easily. We've also seen the introduction of search ads. So you can make sure that your ads are appearing in search results on TikTok. And the latest change is that TikTok are now integrating AI search highlights into the feed. So if you look at this example, the user has searched for a chia seed pudding recipe, and you can see there's a little label which will appear now where AI has contributed to the search results page. So you can see here AI search results highlights, and the AI has found a number of different videos that respond to the search query. So I had a quick look this morning to see if I could find any tests of this coming up. I searched for a few things like decor ideas and some specific searches around restaurant recommendations. I wasn't seeing any AI, but I did read an article from someone saying if you search for queries around recipes and tech, that seems to be where the AI is working best at the moment. So searching something like best laptops 2024 will result in some AI search results there. So interesting to see how AI is becoming more of an important part of TikTok. Ben, I can see that you've raised your hand. I will be coming.
Oh, okay.
You want to ask a question right now, actually?
Directly about this.
Yeah,
Is
go
that all
for
right?
it.
Why
Yeah.
do you think they feel the need to flag that it's an AI search highlight than an algorithmic one?
I think that's a really important question because TikTok are beginning to flag more AI content generally. So there is now a label on TikTok where if you have created something with the use of AI, you can add that label.
Yeah, I understand if where it's generative AI, but if it's just AI to help with search, whatever, that seems a bit unnecessary. But
Yeah, I wonder if it's a covering their back thing, where if AI has thrown up maybe a video that perhaps is against their content guidelines or doesn't quite hit the mark in terms of the query, it's maybe showing something a bit odd. Perhaps that's their get out clause is, this was AI. AI is not perfect. That would be my theory at this stage. Hopefully that answers your question.
thank you.
Okay, so I will be opening the floor to more questions in 5 minutes. So if you have got something else you'd like to ask me, then you're so welcome to. But let's move on to Threads for now. So Threads is gaining momentum, and we are seeing a lot more people utilizing the app than ever before, mainly because there are now so many different signposts to Threads from the existing Meta platforms. So I don't know about you, but when I'm using Facebook and Instagram, every few minutes I'm seeing a reference to Threads, share this over on Threads, take a look at what's going on Threads. On Instagram, you now see if you've got any Threads notifications, which is a nice way of them inviting people to come through to Threads really easily as well. So let's take a look at some of the updates that have been happening on Threads recently. The first one, which I think is a really good one, is that they've recently announced the fact that they've now got third-party partners fact-checking and reviewing and rating false content. This is a move which is in direct competition with what's going on X. X is famously a little bit unruly. They don't have a lot of content moderation happening on X, whereas Threads are seeing their proposition in the market here and saying we're a much safer platform to be on, and we are fact checking, particularly with the upcoming general elections in the UK and US elections. This is going to be really important. So fact checkers can now rate Threads content and downgrade stuff from being shown in the algorithm if it's deemed untrue or false. The other thing that is happening is, as I mentioned, we're seeing more numbers using Threads. So it is gaining more momentum. They have announced that since February, they gained another 20 million users. So they're around 150, 160 million monthly active users in total. Now, that is impressive given that they are almost 2 years old. But it's still a long way off what X claims to get, which is 550 million. So Threads, 150 million, X, 550 million. So they've still got a lot of growth in order to catch up with X if they are going to be seen as the viable alternative. One of the ways that they are getting more people into the app, boosting engagement, is to incentivize high-profile creators to join the app. So as you can see in the screenshot, they are actually offering big creators $5,000 to post on Threads, which is nuts. You have to get 10,000 or more views on your post to earn money, but they are literally giving cash payments to people for coming to join the app. Obviously, you need to be a creator account in order to claim this. But the one that I can think of who recently joined Threads to promote her brand new album was Taylor Swift. And I'm pretty sure she will have got more than 10,000 views on her posts. So who knows how much money she got paid to join Threads, but it is something that she recently did. Another update is we're seeing more and more of these options to share content over to Threads. You can now share content directly from Instagram over to Threads, which is just another prompt to get a bit more engagement, get a bit more posting happening over on the platform. And the other update that we are seeing is Threads will soon allow people to see exactly how many views each post of theirs is getting. So everyone will soon be able to see how their posts are faring on Instagram's X competitor. They'll also be able to see how many views everyone else is getting. So this is something that was tested a few months ago. I saw Matt Navarra, the social media industry trend spotter, had a view count on his posts. So he was definitely being seen as somebody who could test that out. And the view count was huge for his posts, particularly when compared to what he gets on X. So it's a very similar move to what X does. You can see how many views each post gets on X as well, and just moving towards a more transparent social media landscape. So that will be really interesting to then be able, as a business, to start making comparisons as to how many views you get on Threads versus X. So I think that will be a really interesting audit to take when that happens. The final update I wanted to talk to you about today is something that you may have seen in your feeds. This is a bit of activism that's currently happening across TikTok, but also I've seen it spill over onto Instagram. And this is known as the celebrity blockout. This is a campaign which was started around the Met Gala, and it was kickstarted by a group of people on TikTok who are boycotting the accounts of celebrities, particularly those who are said to remain silent on the Gaza war. They are responding to the tone-deaf approach of celebrities, particularly at the Met Gala, who haven't made a statement about Gaza, or those that are just misreading the room and are creating content that is seen as completely inappropriate at this time. So this is happening where social media users are stating which celebrities that they're going to block each day. They're blocking a number of different celebrities every day, celebrities including the Kardashians, Beyonce, Taylor Swift, Justin Bieber, some of the common names that keep coming up on block lists. And they're blocking them mainly due to a movement that's aiming to put pressure on celebrities to speak out against the war in Gaza, but also, as I said, just celebrities that are seen as having a bit of a tone deaf approach to their content that they are creating. I've seen a lot of people losing followers. NPR reported last week that Taylor Swift herself lost 300,000 followers on TikTok and 50,000 on Instagram, which may seem like a lot, but actually she's got 33 million followers on TikTok and 283 million followers on Instagram. So it's just a tiny dent. But it doesn't look like this trend is going away anywhere anytime soon. So it's just something to be aware of, particularly if you do have any upcoming promotions with certain celebrities or influencers in the pipeline. You know, if you are working with creators, just making sure that you have done really rigorous checks on how they are speaking about their political views at the moment on their profiles. And also just keeping an eye on what this means for bigger celebrity accounts as well. There are some people who are skeptical about its potential impact. The article which I had on the previous slide there, which came out in Dazed this week, is sort of saying that although it's great for awareness and it's good that we're having these conversations about the power of celebrities, it's probably not going to make any big changes to celebrity culture, and it probably won't affect their online presences in the long run. So we shall see. And then I wanted to give you a little update on LinkedIn Top Voice Badges. I promised I would last month. So LinkedIn Top Voice Badges are where you can basically get this yellow badge on your profile if you contribute to a number of collaborative articles. So I contributed to 10 or so collaborative articles in my LinkedIn feed, and I earned the Top Social Media Marketing Voice badge, which is currently live on my profile. It's going to be live on my profile for 60 days, so I think I've got it for another couple of weeks until it disappears. And this is only my personal findings. It really hasn't done much for my profile. I haven't seen my views go up. I haven't seen more inquiries on LinkedIn than I usually do get. I haven't had more connection requests. So currently I'm a little bit curious about the overall effect of this badge on your profile. Obviously, it does look great, and perhaps I might find that it's reassuring potential customers to get in touch with me. But was it worth the time I put into making 10 contributions to those collaborative articles? Probably not at this stage. So I wouldn't say it would be top on my to-do list for this summer.